What's going on, guys? There's the bell. How's it going? What's going on? Good to see you. What's up, Shibby? What's up, Puck? How you guys doing? Good to see you, man. How are things? Yeah, the stock exchange is open. You guys ready to make some serious cash today? Awesome. What's going on? Wow, this really... How's it going? How's it going? Welcome to Friday Options. Alright, sweet. Sweet. Let me get this set up here because it's broken at the moment. Quick fix. Yeah, how's things going? How's trading going? If you guys saw or not, the Top Step has a brand new discount. Let's share that out. I can't get Thinkorswim to come up. Come on. Why is it always broken? This always happens to me. Every time. There it is. All right, cool. Looking pretty wild and crazy. Look at all this stuff. What is all this? I don't understand. Yeah, real quick, I'm gonna drop the Top Step discount in the chat if you guys are interested. Climb higher. It's 30% off. So I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of that. The only thing is, they raise their prices, and then they drop a discount. Why? I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. They raised their prices from 89 to 109 or something like that, and then like 59 to like 79 or something. So now they get now they give us a 30% discount after raising their prices. Thanks, dudes. It's funny, isn't it? So, oh gosh, whatever. All right, excellent. All right, let's do some options, you guys. Do about an hour. See what we get through, and yeah, and it'll be good. It'll be sweet. So, just so you guys know, I, for now, am only doing option streams on Friday. It's just a little too much to be streaming every day, plus have a job, plus have a family, plus have all the, it's just, I'm burning the candle at both ends, so I had to make a decision, and this is really what I love the most, options, so I'm going to do this for now. That doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to stream futures. I'm not doing it at the moment. So hopefully at some point I can pick that back up, but it really depends. All right, let's see. Let's start on options here, and let's start at the P&L. See what happened last week. So I remember getting some notifications midweek on what was happening in the account. So this account here, if you remember, started at 100,000 in paper trading. This is Thinkorswim paper trading, and we're basically growing this account from 100,000 to whatever we make, But I'm just basically using this to show consistent passive income. All right, so starting at the beginning of the year, let's see. Let's look at UAL, DAL, and SMCI, which is United Airlines, Delta Airlines, and SMCI. Right now, you really want to be focusing, if you're doing trades like this, you want to be focusing on the energy. You want to be keeping your eye on energy, mostly like crude oil and gas production, because the airlines and the cruise ships and transportation basically is purchasing a lot of fuel. when they purchase the fuel, the stock goes up, all that stuff. So airlines have been doing really good. So I'm going to continue to take a look. We'll take a look instead of SMCI, which right now, the tech industry, which is SMCI and all the, you know, the chip manufacturers, NVIDIA, all those, Palantir, like they're all kind of in a lull right now. They're all kind of going down. That's good for covered calls, but for cash secured puts, then we kind of want the stock to be going up. It's more beneficial. So looking at, right here on the 30th, which was about 2 weeks ago, we sold 2 Tesla, 2 UAL, and 2 SMCI. We'll ignore the Tesla for now. Looking at UAL, here's all the rest of the information. We made $255 on that right there, on that contract. And then we sold underneath that SMCI at $284. All right, and the amount of collateral we had to hold was 98, which is $9,800. Everything's times 100. And $2,700. Everything's times 100. We also sold a Delta Airlines on the 16th, which is about a month ago. We sold a 67.5 put for $172. Oh, I'm gonna move this for now, and I'll do the border to the border off. Now I'll leave border on. Okay, so anyways, right there, $172. So we put this in to expire on the 20th of February. See that? It's supposed to expire on the 20th of February. But today is the 13th of February. So the contract actually closed before the expiration. And that happened because we put in a buy to close order. Basically, we sold it for $172. We're going to buy it back early before expiration and close the contract, which releases our collateral. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I have a playlist on this YouTube channel right now, and it's under courses. It's basically 8 videos on how to trade this strategy, how to do options. If you watch those videos, they'll give you pretty much everything you need to know about how to do this, totally free. Just out there, give her, take it or leave it, basically, take it or leave it. So, with that being said, let's look at what recently happened this week with those 3 contracts. And that is right here on 2/6. On 2/6, February 6th, the balance was 109.95. Sorry, 105.905. Pretty good considering we started with 100,000. Pretty good. All right. UAL. We bought the contract back for 60. And Delta Airlines, we bought it back for 30. And SMCI, we bought it back for 70. So we spent $160 to close those contracts and get our collateral back. And what we ended up making out of that is basically the difference between this 172, this 255, and 284. So we initially made $711 and we spent $160 to close those contracts. That gives us a net difference of $551. That's free money, dude. Literal free money. Now you have to pay taxes on that, so don't forget you have capital gains tax, and in this case it's probably going to be, in the United States, it's probably going to be 20 to 25%. So if we multiply that by, we'll just say 25%, is about $400. So not bad. Not bad for just literally clicking 4 buttons and being done. If you look over here to the left, you'll see that this account is currently at $105,743. It's right here. Here's the total. Right there. 105,743. That's what this account's at now. That's a lot. We made damn near $6,000 in 2 months. You can make about $3,000 to $5,000 per month passive income with this strategy if you have about $100,000 in an account. Whether it's a retirement account, whether it's a personal account, whether you hit it big in futures and now you're building a second personal account, this is how you turn that money into more money very easily once you learn the strategy. And basically, it's basically free money, man. I mean, come on. It's the closest I can find in this world to free money slash printing money. It's literally the closest. As long as you pay your taxes, you're free and clear. Now, some people might be like, oh, the taxes are high and stuff. Well, yeah. But would you rather have the extra $5,000 and pay $500, $600 in taxes than to not have ever even seen that first $5,000? So that's what you gotta look at it. Yeah, there's taxes and stuff, but I mean, this is basically free money, dude. I mean, it's just crazy. It's a crazy strategy. And pretty amazing. Okay, so if you look over to the left here, that has freed up $23,743. About $24,000 has been freed up now to be used for collateral to make more. Let me just check the other account. I have 2 accounts here. Here's an IRA account. Let me check the other account and see if anything happened this week. Okay, we did get assigned 100. So, okay, here's what's interesting. Covered call. Okay, so we got assigned, I think I remember I did this on purpose. We got assigned Delta Airlines 100 shares, which we spent $7,600 right here. And we got assigned Tesla, which I think I set this up correct. I think I set this up to get assigned as a intentionally, which normally I wouldn't get assigned, but it's not the end of the world. If you get assigned, which basically means you put up $45,000 collateral, and if the trade goes in the opposite way and closes in the favor of the buyer, then you become the buyer of 100 shares of Tesla at a specific price. And in this case, it doesn't say exactly what I spent. I think it was at $450. Yeah. All right. So then the balance of the account actually goes down, but you didn't lose money. You didn't lose money. All you did was turn cash, liquid, into an asset, and the asset is shares in a company. And in this case, it's 100 shares in Tesla, or 100 shares in Delta Airlines. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, before I go back to the other account, in this account, I am going to sell covered calls against my shares. Instead of having my cash as collateral, now I'm going to use my shares as collateral. Now I have 100 shares in Tesla, and 100 shares in Delta. Exactly. Time to do covered calls. Now it's time for me to make even more money. All right, let's do this. Okay, so looking at that trade, let's do Tesla first. Yep, exactly, Shibby. Your sweet spot for covered calls is about 14 to 30 days. That's kind of your sweet spot. Now what we want is, when we select a strike price, we want, depends on what you want here. If you want to keep your shares, you want the stock to stay below a specific price. You want it to stay down here. If you want to get rid of your shares and recycle your cash, then you want the stock to close above a specific price. The only thing you don't really want is for two things. You don't want extremes. If you have this price here, let's say it's 450, and the stock climbs to 600, well, you just missed out on $200 worth of potential, right? There's nothing you can do about it, right? So you'll miss out on this upside. That's not the end of the world. You'll just sell your shares at the strike price at 450. You collected a premium, done. Somebody got a really good deal on your shares. On the opposite side, you got assigned at 450 and the stock just tanks. This is actually happening to me right now in my personal account with PayPal. I got in at PayPal at 76 and it's currently at 30. It's so low that the contracts have no value. I can sell it for like $10. It's terrible. I need the stock to come back up. It's not the end of the world. I'm just holding shares, right? Anybody in the stock market will tell you they've had experience buying a stock and then it drops and they end up holding it for 2 months or whatever. It's just, that's part of the game. But I did collect a premium to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and pick a share. We're going to try and pick a line where we think my goal is to recycle the shares. I want to sell off the 100 shares. What's going on, Tim? How you doing? I want to sell off the 100 shares of Tesla, and then I would like to get my $45,000 back. All right. So, like I said, there's your $45,000. We got assigned 100 Tesla here. We spent the $45,000 collateral, and the liquid account has dropped. But instead of it being cash, now I have assets. Okay. So let's do that. Let's go into. Let me just double check. I think it was 450. I think it was 450 was the price of the shares, the strike price. It's not in here. Yeah, it's got to be 450 because that's 45,000. Yeah, it's 450. Okay, and then Delta Airlines was 76. We'll do that next. So going into Tesla, I like to look at the chart, even though I already know what my strike's going to be. I just like to look at the chart. That's not Tesla. And let's just kind of see what's Tesla doing right now. It's moving pretty sideways. So we got assigned at 450. It's currently at 415. All right, that's not too bad. It's got potential. 450 is right there. I actually remember. Yeah, okay. So I am going to select 450 as my strike because I don't want to lose any money. If I were to sell it for less than 450, I'd lose money. If I were to select 455, which is probably what I'm going to do, then not only will I collect a premium on my contracts when they sell, but you also get the difference between 450 and 455. Right? That's your intrinsic value. So that's an extra, what, $500, $5,000, whatever it is. I can't think at the moment. Yeah. So we'll do that. And then when it sells, we'll make more money. If it sells. If it doesn't sell, then the contract will expire worthless and we keep the premium and we do it again. And this is the wheel strategy. So let's go in. I don't know if anybody else got assigned, but if you're like, how the hell do I sell covered calls? This is it right here. So start looking at the 14-day. I like to look at the monthlies if possible. 35-day is what the monthly's at. We might end up selecting that. Because this isn't a short-term thing. Like I got the rest of my life to do this. So I don't mind if it goes 30 days. A lot of times it'll close before that. Okay, I'll just start looking at 14 days. Tesla, make sure you're on the right ticker. Okay, Tesla. 450, 455. So now, okay, over here, this is where you're selling your cash secured puts in the black. See how it says puts at the very top here? Puts. Now we're switching to the covered calls side. Covered call meaning we have the shares. The call is covered by our shares, and in case the trade goes in the buyer's favor, our shares will be called away. That's why they call it covered call. It'll be called away. All right. So I'm going for 455. I could do 450. It's right here. Right? We're down here, but we're looking on the left side now. Left side. I could do 450 or 455. The difference here is it's still pretty good money. A couple $100 at this price. When the stock, here's the thing you need to know about covered calls. When the stock falls, I said this earlier, when the stock price falls far away from your strike price, you can see that the value of the contracts is low. So like, let's say we'd have gotten assigned at 500. I don't even think it got up that high, but we're just using an example. Then these calls are only worth $23. It's pretty bad, right? However, if it's close, let's say we had gotten assigned at 420, right? Now we can still make a couple grand. 1,000 here, 1,000, right? 1,200, 1,100. So because the stock is now at 415, it's pretty far away from our assignment, which is at 450. However, how much money did we make on getting assigned? We'll look at that afterwards. We'll add that to whatever we're making right now. So I'm going to do 455 or 450. 455. Here's where you got to make your decision. Let's see. 455 times the 100 is 45,500. So the difference, if they get called away at 455 here, the difference is $500 between 450, which is what we got assigned at. That's a break-even price. It's actually not quite break-even, but in this case, just for demonstration, 450 is our break-even, and 455 would mean that if I were to sell these shares at 455 and make an extra 500, but we're also collecting a premium. When you collect a premium, you're actually lowering your entry price because you're collecting money. So my entry price is actually probably around 450 or 440 because I've already collected a premium on it when I sold it over here. I hope that makes sense. And we'll look at that afterwards if I can find it. Sometimes the paper money, it doesn't show information well. But I know I probably made a couple of grand on that. In fact, I kind of need to know that information now. Let's go look at that real quick, because that'll help me decide. All right, I sold a contract on Tesla where is it? Let me just look way back. When did we sell Tesla? There's the assignment. Here it is. Here it is right here. We made $1,600, yo. We made $1,600 on this. I sold the 450 for $1,615. 400. Yeah, okay, so we've already made $1,600. And I just need to look at Delta Airlines as well, so I don't have to come back to this screen. Right there. Nope, that's not it. Right there. Yep, that's it. So we made $543 on Delta Airlines. Remember that. Okay. Going back to Tesla, $1,600. So if we do the math here, we got in at 450, which was $45,000. I don't know if you can see my little calculator here. Let me hide the chat for a second. Let me show you how I'm doing this. This is important. You got to know this, because then it can determine what you're gonna get in for your covered call. So if you look in the bottom left hand corner, $45,000 is what we made originally. All right, TikTok, I know you can't see this very well. Come over to YouTube, you can see it better. $45,000. Let's add, let's subtract $1,600. We spent $45,000, but we actually made $1,600 first, so that lowers the cost of entry. So I'm going to subtract $1,600. I think it was like $1,615, but we'll just use easy math here. So our actual entry, our actual break even is $43,400. That's interesting. That's really interesting, because now that changes things. Now when I come down here and I look, I wanted to sell the 450 or the 455, I can get away with selling the 434 or the 435. Look at the difference. Now instead of making $180, I can make $500 to break even, right? And this is where you have to kind of sit here and do the math in a little bit. If I sell it for less than my assignment price, which is fine because my entry price has been lowered because the original profit that I made $1,600. I can get away with selling this one at $565. That means I'll break even Steven on the shares, but then collect an extra $500 premium. If you want to be absolutely break even, add this $500 premium into the next sale, and you can actually go down one more. I don't really recommend doing that, because why are you doing this? To break even? Doesn't make any sense, right? We don't need to do that. I'm desperate. I need to sell the shares. I need my money back because I have to buy a bunch of Pokemon cards, right? Whatever. So in this case, I'm not going to do that. But here's an interesting observation. 435, which is our actual break even, I can make $500 right now. Or if I come back down to the 455, I'll make 200, but I'll keep the 1,600. I'll keep the 1,600. I'm not going to, there's no break even there with the 1,600. I'm keeping all of it. Plus, if it sells at 455, I make an extra $500, just the fact that the share price is different than the stock price that I got assigned at. So let's look at it. If I were to sell the 455 right now, how much money will I have made on this full wheel? If it closes, $1,600 plus, we'll call it $200 plus the difference between 450 and 455 is another $500. $2,300 is much better than just $565 or $575. This is the way to do it right here. Now, you can look at delta and all that stuff, delta and gamma, or delta and theta. They don't really play a part too much in here. Because if you go and you look at my delta, which is usually around 30, right, is a safe bet. Look, it just so happens to be at my break-even price. Now, we're doing this can you imagine right now if this price was actually up here? If I had gotten assigned at 420, holy freaking crap, dude. Now instead of $2,300, we're talking $3,300. So you really can't control, obviously, what the stock is going to do here. So I'm going to sell the 455. I'm going to collect the 200, and it either is going to rocket past 455, and my shares are going to sell. By the way, this is only on the weeklies. This is the 14 days. I can increase this number by looking at the monthlies, which we might do. Not only is it going to, so it's either going to rocket past and close out down here somewhere, and I'm going to be forced, I'm going to be obligated to sell my shares at 455, or it's going to stay somewhere down here, and I'll keep all of this premium right here, and then just recycle the shares again, and recycle the shares again, and keep doing that until it crosses 455. Every time I collect a premium, my break-even price goes down a couple of $100. So I hope that makes sense. Let's look at, we make $220 right now on the weeklies. What can we make on the monthlies? Let's look at 3 weeks out. 455. Yeah, baby, $425. That's 21 days from now. Oh, that's so good. Oh, it's so good. All right, now let me look at, just out of curiosity, let me look at the 28-day. 455. The more time you give this the stock, the more time you give it, the more it can move and settle in a way. 455. $600. I bet the next one's $800. Let's take a look. If we want to do the monthlies, which I like the monthlies, they pay better. They pay better. 455. $865, my friend. Now there's a drop off here to where you're not cycling your money as much. I might make $800 right here, which is great, but this contract's going to be open for a month, which is fine. But you really have to figure it out. Like if I open up a 2-week contract and make $200, that contract is closing in the next 2 weeks. You kind of have to figure out how much time do you want to let your shares kind of cook, right? That's why the sweet spot's between 14 and 30 days. And in this case, we're at 35 days. So, I don't know. You're kind of pulling straws at that point to how often do you want to come here and do this? If you only want to do this once a month, take this one right here. $800, $850 is nothing to complain about. In fact, I'm probably going to do that because it's more of a, for me, when it comes to these options, it's kind of your personality. If you like to trade a lot, then take the one that's only 2 weeks or less and make $100, do it again next week, do it again next week. You can do that, but in 4 weeks, I'll have made probably $400, $500, whereas right now I'm going to make $800. I like fire and forget. This is me. I click it, I forget about it, and then I get a notification on it while I'm doing something else. I'm out to lunch with a friend. Oh, God, hell yeah, man, his contract just closed. I like that better. I like the fire and forget. So I'm going to take this right here. 835. Well, hopefully 850. All right, so one contract, not 10. We're going to sell. Make sure it says call. And make sure it's at least the 450. Make sure, because then your shares will get your collateral is your shares. Tesla 455 call, that looks good. Price, it dropped a little bit while we were sitting here. It was up to 850. You could sit here for a minute and wait for it to go back up. Or what I'll do is I'll set it to like 850 and then I'll fire it off, and then if it doesn't fill, I have to come in a little bit later and fix it and pick a better price. So we'll do 850. Limit, I like to do good till canceled. In this case, you can do day. You can do day. It looks like it's climbing up. Got our dialog box, 850, collecting $850 right now. We'll see if it fills. Boom, done. 850 bucks, just like that. This is why getting assigned shares is not the end of the world. I just made $850 on shares, on 100 shares, right? Not on cash. Yeah. So we on this one contract, we've made $2,300 with the 2 premiums that we collected. And if it sells, we'll get that extra 500. If it doesn't, we'll just keep selling against our shares. We'll keep using our shares as collateral. This is freaking, I love it. Oh, I love it. I love doing this, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so much satisfaction. Now, on the call side, if you want to keep the shares, you can go in and create your opposite order. Just like we do with cash secured puts. Typically, I like to keep my cash. I want my cash to be fluid. Right now, my cash, I call it being held hostage. It's being held hostage because it is in an asset. It's not cash anymore. Now it is my cash is my $45,000 has been turned into 100 shares. I can't take a share and go buy bread with it, right? I can't take a share and buy a meal or whatever. So I personally like to have my shares sold, called away, and then I get my cash back. So the reason I'm saying that is if you wanted to keep your shares, you could go in here, do your opposite order. I sold the premium for $850. I could buy it back to close at, I don't know, $200 or something if I wanted to. And then when the contract, comes down and maybe even hits that $200 mark, it will buy them back. It'll release my 100 shares as collateral, and then I start this process again. Personally, this is how I trade. I want my shares to be called away. I don't want to hold on to them forever. I would like this contract to close. Yeah, buyback. Yep, exactly. Buyback. I'll show you how to do that right now. Going into monitor activity and positions. There's our sell to open Tesla. I don't do it. No, I don't do it, Tim. That's just my personal, the way I like to do it is I want, like I said, I want the shares to be called away. You can do it. There's nothing wrong with it. You won't do it either? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like my cash to be freed up. I don't want my cash, like right now in my real accounts, my cash is basically being held hostage because I have 100 shares of PayPal and I have 100 shares of SMCI, which I'm rotating through covered calls, and I'm making money on the covered calls, but I really would like to get out of PayPal and get into something better, right? I took a PayPal trade 3 or 4 months ago. I'm ready to get out of PayPal, but I can't because the stupid ass stock has dropped $30 or $40 and it's just sitting there at like $30 or $40, and I need to come back into the 60s and 70s. So it's really preference. Something like Tesla can be volatile and can be kind of unpredictable, so I don't recommend just holding the shares for a long time. Yeah, cash flow is more important. I agree. I don't recommend holding the shares in a kind of a company that's like, hey, anything can happen. Elon Musk could just say, I'm done, right? Because this is what he does. I'm going to go buy OnlyFans. And he's going to just drop Tesla. You don't know. It's wild and crazy. So your money is tied to that. All right, let's do a DAL real quick. Same thing. Right, Tim? Who knows what he'll do? All right, if I remember correctly, Delta Airlines, we got assigned at 76, and we made about $550, $540. Go to the island. Yeah, you're right about that. We got about $400, $500. I think about $500 collateral. So we've already got $500 in the bank on Tesla. All right, so if I go down here, then let's look at, not Tesla, sorry, Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines, we got in at 76. So if I look at, let's look at the weeklies. Look at the 14-day at 76. That's a pretty. By the way, the difference between the bid and the ask is called spread. This is a pretty big spread, like 30 all the way up to 125. That's a pretty big spread. 76. Not great. Like 40 bucks. Not great. This is why I like to invest in, in more valuable stock, because making 76 bucks on it's not great. So let's go further out. Let's look at the 21 day. 76. I'm just looking at the break even. I can always drop it down to like 80, which if you drop it down to 80, you'll make an extra $500, but look at the premiums. They're terrible. Right, for whatever reason, right now the premiums are pretty terrible on Delta Airlines. Let me look at the chart real quick. It is going up. It's trending up. It's coming down at the moment, but it is trending up. Okay. Highest, look at that. The high was 76. That's what I got assigned at. Yay! I'm so glad I bought them at the top. I'm so glad I bought 100 shares at the literal top. I think I did this on purpose. Yeah. Well done. I know, right? Yeah. If I remember one of these, I can't remember which one. One of these I did this on purpose because I wanted to show the covered call process, because it had been like a month, right? I might even add this one. I'll probably add this video right here to the course to explain covered calls. I think that's what this is going to be. Yeah, all right. Okay, so this video will be a how do you sell covered calls video. All right, so 76. Yay, so awesome. All right, so let's look at 3 weeks. The 76 sells from between 55 and 93. How do you buy ATH? Not sure what ATH is. All right, so 21 to 28. Oh, all-time highs. Yeah, duh. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Tim. Yeah, new stream. I made $1 selling contracts at all-time lows, and tomorrow we're doing a stream where I buy at all-time highs. Tune in, and don't forget to subscribe. Right? That's what you're looking for? Okay. Yeah, that's right. I knew I couldn't remember ATH's all-time high, obviously, but there's in the money and at the money and out of the money, and so my brain was in options mode. This is how we make money. That's right. Okay, Delta Airlines. Let's look at the monthlies, man. The monthlies are just the best. I just like the monthlies. They just pay better. 76, which we can't sell the 76 necessarily. You sell the 77.5. It's not bad. Yeah, options rate, not futures rate. I know. I had to switch it, Tim. That's funny. So with Delta, because we literally bought it all-time highs, but it was trending upwards. If it goes down more, we'll keep the shares and keep the premium. If it continues in an uptrend, if it's just in a pullback right now and it continues up, it will go past 75, past 76, whatever. It will sell it higher, and then we will the shares will be called away. We'll keep the premium. So I think what I might do here, it's not going to be very much money, but I might sell the 77.5 on the monthlies. And what that will do is that will get me, so 77.5 times 100. I can do this math in my head, but I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes. Right? I got assigned at 76. So subtracting 7,600 means the difference between what I got assigned at and what 77.5 is, obviously it's $150, okay? So adding that to the $500 that I already made, adding that to this here, which is about we'll call it $100. Can't use a calculator. Yeah. We'll add this to about. Yeah, that's funny, dude. That's funny, Tim. we'll add this to right here. So we'll add it to the 100. So that means on this full wheel cycle, we'll make $750. Now, it took 2 months to do that, but that's literally just a small slice of what we're doing, right? We're doing Tesla over here. We're doing United Airlines. We're doing SMCI. We're doing, you know, all these other ones, right? This is just this one. Make one slice. $750. I think that's worth it. It's not worth it for me to drop down to 75, right? I got assigned at 76. So if I were to sell the 75, I would technically lose $100, right? 70, whoa. But let's see. Let's see if it's worth it, right? You got to do the math on this. $7,600, obviously, minus $7,500 is $100. That's what I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose 100. So we're going to start at negative 100. Hello, negative one, what the hell? Negative 100. There you go. All right. Now I made $500 on the contract. The first time, the first cash secured puts. So now we're at $400, right? And if I were to sell the 75, I would collect, we'll call it 170 plus 170. We're at 570. So it's not worth it for me to sell it at 75. I'll lose money. I won't lose money. I won't make as much. Technically, I'll lose money because I bought it at 76 and I sell it at 75. That's technically losing money. And to be honest with you, I don't want to see any red on this account. Zero. This is a 100% profit account, and I want to keep it that way. I have no intentions of losing money at all, ever. It's not like futures where you can take a loss and then you can get it back the next day and all that shit. No, zero. My goal, not lose a penny. I want my profit and loss statement at the end of the year to be 100% green. That's how I like to do it. Now, I'm sure somebody who's way better at numbers and taxes and all that stuff can look at this and say, well, you could really make a tiny bit more, blah, blah, blah. Right? I don't care, man. I want to be able to, I want to see at the end of the year, the literal 100% green profit, zero losses. So that's what I'm going for. So we're going to sell the 77.5 for around 100, whatever the mean is, the average is between these two. I'll figure that out in a second. I wish this didn't automatically say negative 10 because that would be really bad. All right. So selling the one covered call on Delta Airlines at the 77.5 on the monthlies, which is closing in the 20th of March. The average price here, we'll do a mid price at like 115 or 110, whatever, right? It doesn't really matter too much. It's $3 difference. Limit, I'll do day, good till canceled, you know, whatever. Limit, good till canceled. You can do day, but just know that this order will go away at the end of the day. We'll do 112. Okay. Send it. Make $112 minus fees and taxes and all that other shit. See if it fills. Let's see if it fills. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Whatever between the bid and the ask. Basically, I just put the contract out into the market. Somebody somewhere in the world is going to buy it. Yep, there you go. Somebody bought it. They're going to buy it, and then they're going to wait, and then they're going to flip it, and then next guy's going to buy it, and he's going to flip it, and they're just going to constantly do this for the next 30 days until that contract expires worthless. On the buying side of calls and puts, somebody is scalping the shit out of my contract. They're like, ooh, I bought it for a 115. Okay, now it's at 120. Sell it. And they made $5. Right? They're going to do that. People are going to do that for the next 30 days. What's nice about it is if I wanted to, I could go right into the market and snatch it right back. I can take it back. I can take it right away. I can close it right now if I want to. It's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing. My contract that I just sold is floating around in the market, and I can go in there and snatch it back and say it's mine again, which is my buy to close order, which is what I would do on my other account or when I'm doing cash secured puts, but I'm not going to do that with calls because I want to get rid of these shares. I don't want to hold on to them. So if I look here, account statement, you can see here's what we just did, the Tesla and the Delta, and this is how much we made right here just today. Crazy how everything works when you think about it. No, Tim, it is. Yeah, it is. So we increased our cash side from 78,394 up to 79,365. Close to 1,000. Just on covered calls. That's why I always say, and I'll say it 1,000 more times, getting assigned 100 shares is not the end of the world. It's not a loss. You're just transferring cash into assets. That's it. Okay, I have about 10 more minutes. Let's jump over to the other account. That's covered calls. Let's jump into the other account and do another cash secured put because I want to keep that account going. I want that account to keep making money. And right now I have $23,000 worth of collateral open. Probably sell a couple of UAL because UAL is always good. Or we could do the cruise ships. I'm really focusing on transportation right now. Let's look at the monthlies. Let's look at the chart real quick. So it's in a bit of a pullback. It might be moving sideways here. United. But overall, like if you go into Google and you look up energy is going up right now. Fuel production is going up right now. All that stuff. So I would say maybe a good support level is right here, 102, 100 to be safe. I have 23,000, so that means I can sell. We'll try and sell 2 UAL at about 100 each, about 100 strike price. So if I go to the monthlies, I like the monthlies better than the weeklies. They pay better. So 30 to 45 days is your sweet spot. 35 days is perfect. Now we're back over to this side, cash secured puts, right? Why is this? Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Okay. This is what I like about UAL is you're not too far away. Let me get rid of all these strike prices and go down to 12. You're usually not far away. Let's do a few more. From your price that usually stays pretty close. Holy crap, dude. That's good money right there. $289. Our delta is at 27, right? I always say you want around a 0.25 to 0.30 delta. Our support is 100. This is a good trade. I'm taking this right now, and I'm selling 2 of them. I'm going to make $300 right now. Remember what I said about the third rule? 100 divided by exactly 600 premium because I'm going to sell 2 of them. Exactly. 100 strike price divided by 3 is $333. You should be making around that. And we're going to make between 289 and 330. It works. The math works out perfectly. 289 to 330, this math works out perfectly. It's close to our delta of 0.25 to 0.30. Perfect trade. Perfect trade. I'm taking this one. Perfect. I'm taking it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful trade right here. Selling 2. Yeah, exactly, Tim. That's right. Money. 100 put. I just always go through this put. Now, our mid is around 300. I'd like 330, but if I put 330 in, I might not get it. It's a little too far away. Pretty much if you select the mid, you'll almost always sell it. I would rather the contract fill and be done. I don't want to sit here and wait on it for the next 3 hours. Like fill, fire and forget. Limit, go till canceled. I want to get this before it changes. I like this price. I want to get this before this changes. So I'm going quick. Selling 2 of them. Gonna make $600. Boom. Done, son. What's up, Biblical? How you doing, man? We went over covered calls today in depth if you're interested on Tesla. All right, so I just sold 2. That dropped my collateral down to 4,300. Let's go put an opposite order in real quick. Blah, 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 can't talk. Opposite order. All right. That is Tesla. Okay. UAL, 2 to open. We sold it at 305. 305 divided by 4 is around $76. So we're going to create opposite order. Boom. And it just brings it up. I don't have to search for it or anything. It's right here. It's ready to go. The only thing I have to change is the price. I want it at $76. I don't want to buy it at 305. That's what I just made. That's what I just made. I'm doing everything you're seeing right here. I'm doing in my real accounts. This week I made probably $500 or $600 just this week on just doing this. All right, 76. 76 is weird. Call it 75, right? 75 bucks. When these contracts, the value drops to $75, we're gonna buy them back. Limit, make sure it's good till canceled. Otherwise, this order will disappear today. And I don't want it to disappear today. I want it to fill eventually. It'll cost me $150, but I just made $600. Send it. Okay, that one's sitting in there. I'm gonna do one more trade. I have $4,300. Let's pick a new ticker. Let's look at the cruise line called Carnival. Carnival Corp. They're the cruise ships. Right now, I recommend if you trade SMCI, hold off on SMCI because the tech companies and stuff are kind of in a downtrend, but energy is in an uptrend. So I'm shifting. Instead of selling SMCI for around 30, right? Which it could go up. It could go back up and then whatever, right? If it starts turning around and going back up, then start trading SMCI again. So I'm actually switching temporarily to transportation. Tech, transportation, real estate, like pick which like bubble you want to trade. Tesla's transportation, manufacturing, so is UAL, so is DAL, and Carnival. So I'm doing all those right now. All right, so Carnival is going up, right? It's trending up. It's currently down, but it's trending up. So I want a strike price of around this level, potentially around 30. We'll confirm it with the delta. The delta will be like this is perfect. Look at the last earnings, you guys. The last earnings was huge on this one. So it's trending up. It's trending up. It's turned around. The last earnings right here was massive volume. Look at that candle right there. It's huge. Huge spike after earnings. That's really good. This earnings is on 2/13. That's literally today. They paid dividends today. This should be okay because yeah, I know it's already done. So on 2/13, I should be okay. It's usually really volatile right before, but once it's done, then you're good. You're done. It's like news candle, whatever. It's over. Now you can trade again. So I think we'll be okay. If you want to wait, what I'm doing right now, wait until tomorrow or wait until Monday. If you're like a little sketchy on the fact that there's dividends, I'm doing it right now because I'm on stream and it's a paper account, so it's not really that big of a deal. If you're doing this for real, do it at your own risk, but also maybe wait a couple of days. Give time after earnings and then take the trade that I'm taking right now or something close to it. All right, 35 days. I wanted around a 30 strike price, and our delta is at 31. That's pretty good. If I go down to 29, I'll make less money, and my delta's a little safer. So this 29 is a little bit safer bet. Safer being the option won't get assigned. Not, I'm going to lose money. You're not going to lose money. You'll never lose money in this strategy if you do it correctly. You'll never lose money in this strategy. So I'm going to go for the 30-30. go for the 30-30. Let's sell the 30. Now just last check. Do I have enough collateral? Do I have at least $3,000 collateral? Yes, I've got 4,300. We're good. So I'm going to sell that. Don't forget that step, because if you end up selling this contract and you don't have enough collateral to cover it, that's not good. You don't want to do that. Hopefully your platform rejects it. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. I got to change this. Not -10. Single, sell, Carnival, 30, put. Let's do mid, whatever mid price is at the moment. Mid price, right there. It's changing. It's changing. Put at 113. Limit. I like to do this quickly before the market changes. Good till canceled. Confirm it. Send it. And you guys you can always go back and rewatch this. You can pause it, you can slow it down, watch it like 3 or 4 times and see exactly how I did it. So me going, there you go, done. Somebody just bought it. I put it out in the market, somebody picked it up. All right, so I'm gonna put my opposite order in to snatch it back, right? I made, on this, I made Carnival 114. See, I put it at 113. That's right, order filled. I put it at 113, which means it will sell at or above 113. And look, it sold at 114. I like that. That's good. 114, $114 divided by 4 means that I'm going to buy it back at, we'll call it $28. So I'm going to put an opposite order in. One contract, yep, 30, Carnival, put, all that's correct. I want this to be $30 or $28. 28. Boom. Don't forget to change this to good till canceled, or else this order will disappear at the end of the day. I know I repeat myself a lot, but this is the kind of thing I could do everything I just did today. I could do in about 5 to 7 minutes. Because I've done it so many times that I can just whip through it. So you'll get to that point where you're like, oh, I know, yeah, boom, good to cancel, I'm just, the stream, actually streaming it kind of slows it down a little bit. I heard something. I got a new follow on Kick. IW calls collected over 500% more. Yeah, it's pretty good. What's going on Wall Street? Yep. Yeah, IWM is a good ticker, man. It's a good ticker. I used to trade it a lot. I don't trade it very much anymore. Okay. Where was I at? Send it. All right. So let's figure out real quick, and then I got to jump off, how much money we made today. Just in an hour, across 2 accounts, we sold the UAL for 610. Where is, there it is. I was like, where's the other one? Like, where's the other one? There it is. And Carnival we sold for 114. Okay. Then in the other account, $860 plus. So just today, we've made $1,700 in this stream. Not too bad, my friends. Not too bad at all. How about that? How about that? How about you meet me in the parking lot? How about that? Stupid. But yeah. So this is basically your strategy for selling covered calls. This is your strategy for making money on the other side of the wheel strategy. You have the cash secured puts, which is what we just did in Carnival and UAL, and then you have the covered calls, which is what we did here in Delta and Tesla. So there you go. That's the full wheel strategy. When these close, we'll get all that $450,000 or $45,000 back, and then we can continue. You missed the Beninging? Yeah. Go back and watch it. You bet, Tim. Happy to do that. I hope you're able to learn something for it. Yeah, in the Beninging. So stupid. I love it though. So okay, cool. Yep. For now, we'll stream again next Friday. Sorry it's so long, but I kind of have to do it right now. I kind of got no choice. It's a bit too much. If I didn't have a full-time job, which sometimes I don't even work 8 hours, sometimes I work more like 10 hours, it just gets so much. Yeah, to be so much. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, at some point, oh, you're still holding the hood? Nice. Yeah, biblically, you gotta steal from the rich and give to the poor. Right? With hood. At some point I might be able to do this a lot more often, and I'm hoping to get to that point. We'll see. So awesome. I'm gonna jump off, guys. Get ready for work, and feel free to rewatch this. If you have any questions, drop it on the video as a comment, and I'll see if I can help you out. I haven't been able to watch Discord as much lately. It's been crazy. So we have a big inspection coming up at work, and it's like all eyes are focused on that. So awesome. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.